My name's Josh Snyder, and you're listening to Thoughtful Discussions. I'm here with my co-host.
Yes, this is Corey Ochai, the one and only. Yes, sir, I am here. We got special guests today, too. Somebody I'm really interested and intrigued and talk. Every week is like that. This one right here, I think, really hits home. You know what I mean? Because I'm serious, man. I don't think you understand how much you inspired me and how much your journey has. So if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Yes, tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself and what you do.
That'd have been great if he just went straight into it. We just didn't mention his name, and the next thing you know, it's like,
boom,
you know what I mean?
Boom.
I am nameless. No, I'm Chris. Chris Boles. I run Redfishbowl. Started a grassroots art organization from scratch, all as unplanned organic accident. It's been a hub that's brought hundreds and hundreds of artists together. Platform for projects to springboard off of to be their own entity, as well as outdoor festivals and events. So it's a whole amalgamation of things. I don't even know what amalgamation means, but
I know,
it felt
it sounds right. It does feel right.
It is correct in your context.
I'm just gonna nod my head.
Great.
I'm gonna nod my head like yes, amalgamation. I don't know, but it felt right, man. And you know what? If you guys are listening, you guys are watching, if you know any artist that has made their way into Pittsburgh, I guarantee you, one way or the other, they have touched down at Redfishbowl.
And if they haven't yet, they will.
Oh, they will. They will. We'll
find you.
Yeah, we will. They will. I mean, I feel like that is, it is a ground for understanding what the art community, who the art community is, what it's about, and what is truly like the essence of Pittsburgh's art community. You know what I mean? It's one of those things, man. And I know when in my journey, when I was building out a TT, it was a place that I could look for a reference of what it could be, what a TT could be.
Right.
As looking at what Redfishbowl is. You know what I mean? So the fact that we have something like that here in Pittsburgh, where it's almost like a clubhouse for artists and creatives of all genres,
right?
Where they can go and they can cross-pollinate with others that are like-minded. It's so dope, and it looks amazing too. You know what I mean? So yeah, but that's my little spill. But
thank you. I gotta take some of your verbiage and then I'll spill that into that. Sounds
great.
Flatter me more.
What was the word you used?
Amalgamation.
Yeah, there we go. That one. I don't know.
I don't even need to know what it means.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's it. That's the title of this. All right, man. So in your journey, I really wanted to see, where did the idea for Redfishbowl even begin? Like, how did that? You said it was a complete. It was a mistake. You said, right?
Kind of like more like an organic accident.
Yeah, organic.
Not so much
accident.
as a mistake. It's like kind of accumulated and snowballed into something much bigger than I was about to say I ever planned it to be, but there was no plan.
You just kind of kept saying yes and falling backwards into it?
Yeah. So we started out of Delanie's Coffee in the South Side.
Okay. Second time I heard that today, too. Delanie's Coffee.
Good people for sure. And it was all, I was working at a record shop, I was teaching, I'd take my breaks there, and I had a friend that worked there.
Okay.
One of my best friends lived out in the sticks and was a phenomenal artist. So I wanted to get his art in there, and at the time they had these huge brick walls with all our viewers, perfect time for that. Perfect. And that is why you want your custom branded PGH Print Ship water for anything.
We're definitely not making that a promo.
Have you had it yet?
No, that's my first refreshing.
It's a refreshing H2O.
Yeah.
Hello.
But long story short, taking breaks at Delanie's, had a friend who was a phenomenal artist. Nobody knew anything about, you can make the most beautiful things, but you know, if no one sees it, no one creates it. It's the same argument as if a tree falls down in a forest,
Right.
you know, type thing.
100%.
You know, the beauty and authenticity is still there, but you know, you gotta spread your wings. So they literally had a photograph of a coffee mug on their wall that could fit hundreds of pieces of art that was like 8 by 10. That is it. So I'm like, please let me put this guy's stuff up, right?
Absolutely.
So they let me put his stuff up. It sells. Other artists walk in there and they're like, how do we get our art on the wall?
Mm-hmm.
And they're
Talk
like,
to Chris.
I don't know. Talk to Chris. So then
It became the Redfishbowl wall at some point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It inadvertently was just like, everybody put your art on the wall. And then there's, you know, just grew and grew and grew. And I was like, okay, let's do a show. Let's change it all out overnight.
Okay.
And then we'll do a show. All right, let's add a band. And then I know both of you guys are familiar with the South Side at night.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got. I'm sorry. PTSD, my guy. Young man's game.
Exactly.
But everybody has an experience. You ain't from Pittsburgh if you ain't had an experience down on Carson.
That is
Telling
true.
me, yeah.
That is true.
It's
Delanie's is right in the heart of that on
Yep.
18th and East Carson.
Yep.
So, you know, lots of drunken bro fighting.
Absolutely.
So, the neighborhood chamber of commerce came to Delanie's. They saw 3 or 4 art shows we did. And they said, we love what you're doing. We would love to have an art footprint in the South Side. Will you do an art crawl? And I was like, absolutely. You know, we would love to do that. And then they're like, okay, what is your website, LLC, and business? And I was like, I don't know what any of that means.
I got you.
So you see where this is all.
If you go a few episodes
spiraling.
back, I said just start doing what you like doing, and you'll become more careful later. That was the later right there.
Yeah. That is it. That's exactly what happened. And I'll get back to this later, but I actually didn't know why our business was called Redfishbowl for 3 years.
I love that.
And that's
I'm sorry, I love
very
that.
fun.
Who named it?
Ted Remlinger, because in this instance, I needed a website.
Yeah.
And he was one of my best friends from home, lived out in Philly, and he was the one who made the website. And I was like, I don't know, I just need a website. You can name it whatever you want. And
that sounds like the story of Meow Wolf almost, like how they created that. Just put the names in the hat, and picked out random words, and said, "That's it."
Well,
that's how you got it.
Kind of like that. So what happened was he
love it.
He got really high.
Yeah.
As you know, artists tend to do, and do your art however you like.
Yeah, the artist, that is the true
Custom
artist,
branded
right?
water, or with enhancements. But yeah, he took my name, Chris Boles, the first artist we worked with, Tony Fisher, and his name, Ted Remlinger, wrote them all out on a piece of paper, and then just kept mixing the letters together. And then it ended up being Redfishbowl is what he landed on.
That's a great start to a documentary.
So Chris Boles, Redfishbowl. Makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
You know, it was so wild because I was thinking about it, and I guess it's so wild, even when you look at art, like we'll make sense of it in our own way.
Yeah.
So when I would look at Redfishbowl, I would think of it as like a fish in a bowl. A fish only grows as big as a bowl gets.
Yeah.
And then if you get
and the logo is like a fish jumping out of the bowl.
Exactly. So you put it in if you put it in a bigger tank, it grows bigger. So I thought of it like a great way to cultivate, somebody who's just starting off, growing. They outgrow it, and so you know what I mean. And you should just went with that.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say
story.
this is even more like we look
That's
at
how I
ourselves
always
as
looked at it.
incubator / expert level. So those beginning artists, and then you learn from other people. I think off the top of my head, who was it? Natik was working with Gold Leaf. He passed that down to I think Corey Edmondson, and then Corey was painting outside, or vice versa. And then Beanie paints. Irene Sparks, she was doing it, and then her and Corey started painting outside together.
And rest in peace, King. I got to say that every time I hear Natik, that is that's one right there who will forever be spoken of and talked about, and
absolutely,
and we appreciate it, and we still appreciate still to this day. You know what I mean? That was a good brother right there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Not just a great artist, but a great person, and truly am honored to say in my journey I crossed paths with somebody like that, because it kind of was something to shoot for.
100%.
The things that that man has done, and is still doing. So it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, and his story too is phenomenal. So and kind of started off in a similar way.
Exactly.
So
I've sat down with him for a podcast before, which was learned so much. I mean, we can just have a whole podcast just on like what I understand from his journey, because I mean, the man is truly like literally for real genius.
Yeah.
Like he's a genius. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it was it was one of those things where it's like, okay, there's no ceiling to this.
For sure, and that's kind of just like, using him as a example for, the ethos of our business of being a platform with both people like him who are more expert level. Also watching him cultivate and grow his own craft, but more so, lifting up those who are just starting or just trying to learn something new and, get experimenting with different things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So did you guys connect before the O-Ringer was actually created? Or was
Natik and I?
Yes.
Oh wait, he was one of the OGs back in like 2014. Oh, yeah, that's a date.
Yeah,
I'm not allowed to use dates.
We could date back. It's just like what's coming up that we don't know when these guys are gonna listen to this. So if we were to say something like, oh, it's gonna happen next Tuesday, they'll go somewhere and it's like, what happened?
Yeah,
what I mean? So it's one of those things. But
But no, quick story on that. It was one of the first shows we asked him to do a show in Delanie's. Mm-hmm. And he took a bus down, sold all his art on the mega bus down. He didn't have any art for the art crawl.
That's a great story.
And I'm
Bro
just
needed
like,
some prints.
Yeah, exactly. So
I was just starting out.
What do you do when you show up?
I'll tell you what you do. He sat in the corner and he was still painting, not ready to hang. And at this point, we were just like, I saw his art online. I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. And we didn't recognize each other. Right. So I'm just some stressed out kid walking around a coffee shop, in my socks, like on a phone, walking back and forth, and like see this guy sitting in the corner painting. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And then it didn't even connect.
It didn't click.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
That's when it first happened with the Southside art crawl and that. And then he was kind of bouncing back and forth, and then we reconnected right when the studio opened in 2019. He made like the first panel and the first like mural and wall.
And that's what I mean when we talk about Redfishbowl and cultivating artists, right? Because you mentioned two of my idols really. One being Natik, another one being Corey Edmondson. Absolutely phenomenal human being, as well as to see what he is doing now and knowing where he really got his feet wet. Yeah. I mean, it's like really cool, and that's what I'm saying. Redfishbowl, man, is one of those places. If your guys are just getting started and you don't really know what direction you want to go, you can at least go down there and find a path to navigate till you really till you really get your own, develop your own path.
And the events that you have, like where you can booth at, not expensive. There's going to be people that buy art. Like it's the way the marketplaces are set up and the events that you do. Like it's very plug and play. Very easy to just kind of like just come do your thing, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we try to keep it super accessible, like $25 to $50.
Yeah.
So you mind if we kind of went through the origin story a little bit, and I don't even know if we tapped. I mean, that's a great story.
I'm curious about your personal history, kind of how that led up to here.
Yeah.
Like before Redfishbowl started, like what were some things that were happening that were like influenced you to start saying yes to these sorts of things that led to this?
Honestly, I was just like super into music and in a band at the time. Yeah. And really wanted to like play out and stuff.
The band's name was
Decaffeinated Grapefruit.
Delicious.
Which
delicious.
Okay.
We made as our first show was at Delanie's Coffee. And I made up a fake drink called a Decaffeinated Grapefruit and told everyone to order it on the mic, which wasn't real.
Oh,
so everybody tried to buy this thing that's not
way
real.
Too much. That's amazing. The lady at the what the hell is that?
And then we got stuck with it.
Yeah. Did they actually make the drink though?
No, Hambones did at some point.
Okay.
Hambones made one,
Shout out
but
to them.
at the
All right,
But yeah, another great one down.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm pivoted from that question, I think.
No, it's great. Like, who were you?
Who were you in high school and out of high school and college or whatever that?
Yeah.
Up until Redfishbowl became a thing, like what things might have influenced your life to a point where you were like, that led you down that path.
Got you.
Like, what did that path look like?
Got you. I mean, definitely music, probably number one.
Yeah.
Went for philosophy and creative writing. So those things and trying to find, some type of tentative job after college that, correlates with philosophy is near impossible. You pretty much have to make it up.
Yeah.
There's some interesting things I remember my philosophy professor told me. He's like, yeah, well, there's this one student who he now manages the the Shell gas station right up the way. And I was like, what do you mean, man?
Wow.
I don't want to be doing that.
Was he trying to tell you,
It was a joke.
you're not built for this?
Yeah.
You're not built for this?
Yeah.
There's a gas station. There's an opportunity at a gas station.
Yeah.
Street. My man was on another level with this. You know what I'm saying?
No shame in that.
I don't know. Especially, there's no shame in doing that. But it's another thing if your college professor is telling you to.
It's true.
You're probably better off at a gas station, my friend, instead of in my class. Now, this man is hilarious, for one. And two, what was your passion in philosophy? What made you take, that route, that stoic approach to life?
That's
You do have a stoic
existentialism,
type of
postmodernism, all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, honestly, it was the only thing that I was interested in enough to push through to just get.
Okay.
You can't do something you're not passionate about.
That's so true.
That's the only reason I went through. Reading was my weakness, and philosophy is like all reading.
Right, but maybe that would drive you to actually read. Maybe
It sounds like it did.
Yeah. So it sounds like reading. May
That was a
not be your weakness,
motivator.
but you just only read about things that you're truly interested in. That's why you said passion is so important, because passion will get you to do things that you normally don't do, and that's an indicator that you found your thing.
100%.
You know what I mean? When something drives you to do more than what you tend to do on a norm, or what you thought you wouldn't do. That's when you kind of know you're passionate about it. That's amazing, man. So okay, you're in college. You're going in philosophy. What did that look like in? Like, did you graduate and did you get a minor or a major in that?
Yeah. Average like 3.0 to 3.2 or some shit.
Yeah.
Minor in creative writing, major in philosophy.
Okay.
And it was a smaller school up in Erie, so there's like 6 people who
That's
walked
even
in that
better.
philosophy class.
That's even better, man. I love small classes, man, because
Yeah.
I feel like you really become. You really develop a relationship with whoever's in the front of the room teaching. It's more personable. It's different when you're in a whole auditorium and they don't even know everyone's name. Right. But it's like they see you walking down the hallways, they know it's you. It's one of those things I think we need more of in smaller classes. I think the teaching is more direct. Okay, so that was a thing. 6 people walked. You were one of them. Right, so he was wrong. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? Should we shout this teacher out? Should we shame him publicly? You know what I mean? I don't know.
You got to send him invitations every once in a while, just to hey, come check me out.
So what happened after college? Like what?
Started working in a record store on the south side, just living in my buddy's house, and then became like an emergency certified substitute teacher.
Oh, that's where the teaching came into play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, was in Pittsburgh public schools, a teacher, would get pregnant.
Right.
Or just someone leaves or something.
Right.
And then you pretty much become a full-time teacher where you're grading papers and doing
absolutely
the whole 9 yards.
I got you.
But yeah, between that and driving Uber and Lyft,
right.
And working at that record shop, I would take my breaks at that coffee shop my friend worked at.
So the teaching.
And that was kind of the connecting factor there.
Yeah. Well, the teaching makes sense because I feel like I mean, even where you're at now, you know what I mean. You're still guiding. You're still opening up doors. You're still opening up people's minds to things they may not know of and opportunities and those sorts. So, you know, what was it? What did you like teaching? Was that something you truly enjoyed?
Yeah, it was
you
good.
know, do you still kind of get that joy running Redfishbowl right now? Like the same
And
type
it's
of
the
joy?
you know, it's
Excuse me.
just the word that I can't, I don't know, fixate on enough is like autonomy. Like in Pittsburgh public schools, kids are so taught to like get a certain percentage and do well on a standardized test,
Right.
versus like not thinking for themselves or following any passion or anything of that nature. And you know, to transpose that to the arts, you know, you just gotta not necessarily use like, you know, the certain methods. I can't think of it right now, but I wanted to bring up Corey again. Just like his evolution was amazing, you know. He went from straight charcoal to adding gold leaf to doing abstract, adding painting to it, like all in a very small amount of time. And I think that one of his, I really wish I knew the name of this method, but it was some method that like, you know, would pretty much show you how to like draw a face like perfectly, everything spaced out.
Right. Oh, I know what you're talking.
Begins with an F.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. There's books on it. You start with this circle. It just makes. Damn.
Yeah.
I know exactly which one you're talking about, but that's
Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah, there you go. I guess that's what we're gonna call it. Even if that's not right, it's right today. That's what we're at.
We'll allow it.
Yeah,
Great.
we'll allow
Yeah.
it.
It's a philosophy thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We just call it that. If you don't understand, you'll get it. You'll figure it out. But you know, it's so wild because you said you went to a smaller college.
Yeah.
Where everyone seems to know everyone, even with the teachers, and it comes down to people that go to Redfishbowl. Everyone seems to have a personal relationship with you. So I mean, as many artists that have gone through there, every last one knows who you are, and you tend to still be to emulate maybe with that that same room. That's what I feel like because there's not a person that went over there that doesn't have a personal relationship with you, and it's like a good one.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
so
sure.
it seems that it just seemed the you know, it's wild how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pittsburgh as a whole is a small enough community that is pretty tight knit, and so it's easy for us to kind of gain more experience with a wide net of people, right? But I don't want to speak for you.
No, you're good.
I'm curious about how many artists you guys have, and then like how much you intake like on a yearly basis, because it seems like for an organization like yours, it seems like there's a ton of people that are a part of your success.
Yeah. And that's kind of the, I guess, philosophy that made it successful, is involve everybody. If everyone puts in a little legwork, then you know, it accumulates and grows into something big,
right,
that, you know, all parties involved can mutually benefit from.
Absolutely.
And you know, the interesting thing is like when you're saying everyone there has a personal relation with me, I'm like, shit. In a good way, in a positive way. But something I've been trying to do is, in order for it to grow, you know, I'm trying to make more me's, so to speak. You know,
right. A development program almost, so because just God, you know, God forbid the universe forbid if something was to happen to you and you were everything to it,
right?
There's a trickle down effect that happens to that. But if there is more of Chris's and people that share that same ideology, it tends to be able to scale more. You can do more,
correct,
and still have that same essence of where Redfishbowl started from. And you know, when I think of you, what I was getting to is there's a Rick Rubin, right? Because you haven't mentioned that you took any art classes, but it seems like to me that you're like the art whisperer, kind of. It feels like, you know what I mean? It feels like what Rick Rubin does with other musicians. He doesn't know how to play a board. He doesn't know how to work a board. He doesn't know how to play an instrument, but he's still able to get the best out of those that come to him, because he's able to understand what they want and try to help them get there using his philosophy.
Yeah.
And that's what, when I look at you and I kind of hear your journey and reading his book right now, that's what it feels like, because it seems like whoever comes out of Redfishbowl has a, and I think it's even the same with Corey Edmondson. The reason he was able to grow so fast is you provided environment and maybe knowledge that maybe didn't pertain to art, but pertain to other things that was still able to navigate through there. Especially with his mind, he's a very smart individual. I think he's a teacher himself. Was he a teacher? No, he maybe he's not, but he is teaching now. He's teaching classes and a mural, creating murals and everything like that. He has that in him.
Well, he does all his own online classes too.
Yeah, like Skillshare almost type of feel. Yeah. And I would take every one of them if I had the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Man, the guy is just absolutely phenomenal. Thoroughly one of my favorite artists to watch.
Not enough good things to say about him for sure.
So where do you think that you see Redfishbowl going in the next, year, 5 years, 10 years? Do you have any goals set out?
I'll try to do it reverse if I can.
Sure, yeah.
10 years, I would like where we're at in Pittsburgh to operate completely without my existence. And and then I want to take that, what we've been able to do there. Yeah. And do some grant in, I don't know, Colorado, Austin, Seattle, somewhere else to open a new space and be like, here's what you can do for your community. Okay. Kind of direct that and let it grow somewhere else. It doesn't even necessarily have to be out of state, but
trying to break out of the bowl.
That was come on.
You got back to it.
That was Dad Joke 101. I love that though. That was good.
Spilling over.
Yeah, tip over into another. But that's dope, man.
Get in the aquarium, baby.
We gonna keep going on this, guys. All right, so I think that's dope, man. I feel like you have the knowledge, you have the skill set, you understand. To create something like this and be able to duplicate it, I think it's more than possible. I think that's more than possible. And I think Rick Rubin also mentioned this as well. That's the point. When he sits down with these artists, they can take this with him, so he doesn't have to be there. He helps develop a mindset to learn with the philosophy or the things that he provides, but so they can take it and do it. And I don't think you really
run
like
a well-oiled machine without it.
Absolutely.
Just open the door and then there's the resources.
Absolutely. So so that's the goal. That's the goal. And you said 10 years?
I picked the longest amount of time for me because that's probably gonna take a while.
That's a smart man. He said, "Let me give me some."
I think you could if you either do whether it's written or video type series, I think that you could promote the idea of who you are, what you do, how you do it, and enable people to progress similar things in their areas without you actually having to have a hand in it. Yeah, that'd be where I'd start with that.
Almost like consulting in a sense.
In a sense, but more as not in a corny way of buy my well, no, buy my series online, whatever, like that, like a
masterclass.
I think it could be something like that.
Yeah, we almost forgot about the most important part because we kind of went back about where Chris came from. Yeah, but we never got to the point of how did you find a studio to take all of these ideas and. You know what I mean?
Because it didn't have a studio for the first 3 years between the time between let's say
when it was significant, probably 2016 to 2019. Okay, 2016 is when I quit teaching and everything and started doing just events full time.
Yeah, 2016 is the first art crawl. Or was that 15?
First or second Southside art crawl. Yeah.
Okay, so you did 2 of those.
Yeah, I think it was the second Southside art crawl.
You didn't learn from the first one.
That's real tough.
Sucker for pain. Yeah. That was tough, man.
That was some fun stuff for sure.
That was a tough experience, I think, for you. I remember you were kind of going through it.
I'll put it like this: that was my first time working with over 150 artists. Where I didn't
I'm
know
sorry,
better.
that just came from the gut. I was like, what?
Yeah.
You're working with the artists, then you're working with the business owners, then you're working with the community, the public, and like the.
And I'm just
you know.
some 23, 24-year-old kid in a coffee shop walking around in socks.
Yeah, the power
I
of
had
not knowing.
everybody pay $10 because I was like, okay, then I can pay the bands.
Yeah.
You know, show their art.
Yeah.
And then, what was it? They would sign some little thing that says, like, you know, if something happens to your artwork, that like some like liability form.
Absolutely.
Thing.
You at least went that far after you heard the words or the letters LLC and all the other things. It's like, at least we got to figure out something to make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But all in person in a coffee shop, when that so easily could have been done online.
Yeah.
Met 150 different people.
Yeah,
They're different times.
But
It's ridiculous.
There's a beauty in that pain.
Did
There's some
everything
gain in that
wrong
pain.
first to learn how to do it right.
Yeah,
You know,
that's the best way, though,
just
isn't it? Isn't that more
trial by
sustainable?
fire.
Yeah, and also we still embody that. You know what I mean? The gain is in the pain, really.
Of
A
course.
lot of times, if you know everything, you really won't learn anything from that situation. Like if somebody tells you everything to do, you may do that and it's successful, but there's a bad process with a good outcome. I feel like understanding why you're doing that. And a lot of times that comes by doing it wrong. And I've done it wrong so many times that I know how not to do it wrong. And that's the only
Right.
reason that I'm doing it right. You know what I'm saying? It's so weird, but it works
That
like
and
that.
I like that.
being around it so you can learn other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
That's definitely you know, if you can see that wisdom and see it coming beforehand, that's always good. So I try to tell people when they're thinking about starting something, and I don't care what age they are, or what their current job is. I try to encourage them, even if it's just nights and weekends, go do that job, try it out for 3 months, 6 months, whatever you can stomach, and see if it's something you actually like. Like I get a lot of people that try to bounce ideas off me for like, oh, I'm thinking about starting this business. What do you think? I'm like, could be a great idea. Go try it. Go try it for 6 months and see if it, because once you go all in and you get the space and you start doing the thing or whatever it is, like it can be really tough. So
it will be. It will
learn from other people.
If it's anything good, it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to push you to the limit. There may be days you may be in the corner, lights off.
But for you, I mean, you were able to start with the TT.
Yeah.
And that wasn't.
Yeah.
You weren't backing it 100%.
No, it
right?
was not. No, it
so you were able to learn on someone else's.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true,
Right?
truly. Yeah, I was given the opportunity in a blank canvas.
Right.
And the direction was very minute.
Right.
So it was like, we had to create something. So I had no idea what I was doing. I was 2 months or 3 months out of quitting my job as a security guard, and I told my wife I wanted to be I wanted to be an artist. Try to tell that to your wife.
Wait, of how many years at that time?
At that time, I think we were 8 in, and
Yeah.
we almost didn't make it to 9. If this wouldn't have worked, we wouldn't have made it to 9. I feel
I don't
like
believe that at all.
Nah, I
She's
don't
the
either.
best.
She is amazing. Yeah, she would have kept me around, but I had to wear that egg on my face, and I only succeeded so I could look at her in the eye and told her like, "I told you so." But
You succeeded because of her.
No, truthfully, she pushed me. I couldn't let her down. But that was, and I had no idea. So I always go by the saying, and this is going to be crazy because you're sitting here.
Right,
You don't ask the bird how to swim, you ask the fish.
Yeah.
So hello. Yeah, put them up in the air, though, Chris. Put them up in the air.
It's not Red Birdhouse.
You don't ask the bird
man.
how to swim. You ask the fish. You go to those that are swimming. They have the experience. So with that in my mind, I started to look at different facilities, different places that were doing the thing that we wanted to do. We wanted to do our own way, but they were doing some of those things. Redfishbowl being one.
Boom Concepts.
Yeah, Boom Concepts, Resident, all of that. All of the ones in Pittsburgh. I can name a few of those that I actually enjoyed. Redfishbowl being the closest one to us.
Yeah.
And I knew a lot of people from there. So
Yeah.
I would start inviting some of them down to do a tour. And the ideas came from the tour. As we were shaping the vision, I would have them come down and, this is what we plan on doing. And then somebody who's a creative has a great idea, and we would add that into our game plan if it fit our core values and so forth.
Right.
And just understanding, learning more and more about it. I wish I would have actually came and actually talked to you though, Chris. You know what I mean? I have been through Redfishbowl. I don't think you were there at that time, but it was really cool to hear the joy of people and the culture was the thing that I really gathered from there and how important that was. And I knew how to do it because everyone that came to Redfishbowl had a Chris Boles story.
Oh,
you know
okay.
what I mean? And it was good. It was good. It was like, you know, when they got there, they felt like, you know, even though that you were in, you know, the top offices we're going to call in this time, right? That they can come to you. They can sit there, they can call you, they can contact you, they can connect you with you. And I knew it was important that whoever I was to bring over here would have that same type of relationship, you know, would have that same type of opportunity. They have my cell phone number, you know what I mean, and my line's always open type feel. That was one of the things I got from there. The dope art was cool. And, you know, it's just those type of things. I looked around town and I seen what was working. And I was like, there's something I can learn here. And that's what I did. You know what I mean? Ours is a little different. We have, you know, 12 studio spaces over there. So filling those up with the right people that actually wanted to be there and create there and actually enjoy their neighbors. Don't even come all the time to just do art, but just to knock on somebody's door. And what that does is cross-pollinate. Yeah. That cross-pollinates ideas. You're in their space, they're in your space. You're seeing each other's art. Yeah. Their methods are making their way into your space. Your
100%.
Methods are making their way into their space, and that's how we do it.
Absolutely. I grew so much at 448 when I was there, just as like being around other artists. You like if you're having any type of artist block, like when you collaborate, it totally breaks it loose.
Absolutely.
Collaboration is absolutely the key. And even if that's just like walking around and seeing what everyone else is doing, and you might not actually be like collabing with them.
Absolutely.
But just being able to like just see the expression, it definitely helps you exercise.
Literally had this conversation today. That is the thing that we miss a lot of times. And we say this on here all the time, if you have an idea and you can do it by yourself, you're not dreaming big enough. Right. A lot of times to get to the next level, it is the collaboration. We push each other up the ladder. And I think that is the only thing that I was seeing that in my journey that was missing, is that I didn't know where to go because I didn't know anybody who was doing these things.
Right.
So, of course, I'm gonna hit a wall, but if I see somebody doing something, I know it's possible. I know that, okay, that's working for them. Let me test that water out. Right. You know, let me swim in that bowl. You know what I mean? And, you know, I got them all day, Chris. I got them all day. But that's, you know, that opens up my mind to possibilities and gives me less to push back on because I know there's a path already there. I can swim up there. So, yeah, man, it's been beautiful. It was beautiful, and even cross-pollinating artists. You know, artists. You know, we have a gallery space as well. So seeing that you guys, you know, show the work there, do these shows there, and they don't just have to create there; they can show their work there too. Yeah. There's a possibility because we've seen it done, and we see it working. Being in touch with the community. Making sure that you're entwined in that. Same thing. We've seen that work. We can do that. Okay, let's do that. You know, if there was a gallery crawl here, you know, they start coming to us like, oh, I know you guys got artists. Next thing you know, artists have opportunities. You know, they're doing murals now out here. Yep. They're tapping in they're getting grant money for that to happen. You know, now we got Artspirations happening. We got, and it wasn't us just building a space for us. It was us adding value to the town and creating a place where they can express their imagination and like exercise that. Right. You know what I mean? And open their minds up to it. So I mean, I've seen it, and that means I know it's possible. Right. And why not try to create our own version of what we see in LV? You know what I mean? And you know, we got two of us is better than one of us, just like two Chris's is better than one Chris.
True.
You know what I mean?
So what are the characteristics and qualities you'd look for in your minions?
It's my minions.
Yes.
The minions. The little ones.
Oh, that's a rough one. Honestly, a lot of the things that, I kind of lack in, that way you build a fuller circle.
Right. But you need to replace yourself eventually, right? So what are those characteristics?
Definitely, autonomy, the willingness to do that trial by fire we talked about, very, I don't want to say overthinking because that has a negative connotation, but more critical thinking, really breaking something down piece by piece, analytically, yeah, but in a creative tone, not a mathematic tone.
Right.
I
get it.
And seeing like what can be added to that, or doing your standard thing and just tweaking it and doing it a little bit differently because everything's already happened, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you brought up Meow Wolf, right? That's the wildest shit.
That's
so
amazing.
That's like themes and variations. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like instead of just having the band playing doing a show, we'll have like a little side stage where like the band stops. Then we have like a performance art on top of that, but the stage is on wheels. And there's a guy in a rabbit suit pushing around the stage while it's happening. We did that. We did do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is not just like
someone that sees that vision.
Experimentation.
Right.
That kind of just changing of the standard, challenging the standard, and not conforming to what is already established, but augmenting that in a way that allows things to cultivate. I don't know if that's a lot of word mumbo.
That was a lot of words, but they were used correctly, man. It's understandable.
It's a good amalgamation.
Oh, God damn it. We're going to keep
I was just about to say
it. I wish I could say the word. For some reason, it's all the syllables together. It just makes it hard for me. Let me drink this water again. Once again, this is custom brand water, PGH. You can get your logo on it before I try to pronounce it again.
It's a new thing. It's a new thing.
Oh, yeah.
People are still catching wind of it, but
absolutely.
I got some for a Friendsgiving coming up that have their face on it, and they're bringing it to the party, and it's hilarious.
That's great.
There's been some for some art shows where
egotistical, need a joke, put your face on the case.
Exactly.
Boom.
There you go.
Hey
man, you're gonna do it someday.
Oh, absolutely. And it can also be.
Oh, look at that!
The shower.
A hat.
Hello. Hey, man. There
Custom
we go.
branded hats.
There we go. First time that ever happened on the podcast.
There's the commercial.
First time.
And I removed the headphones. The integrity of the headphones have remained.
Well, I know you're a musician. You get it. You know how to do this thing. So let me ask you a question. There's one thing that actually do this, right? And to get it started and get it going. It's another thing that continue to do it and wanting to push it forward. I think that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, that's something you brought up. You said in the people that you're looking for is someone that isn't going to give up and kind of push through that hard. Yeah. Trial by fire. Why do you think that you did that?
Yeah.
Why was it important to you to go, to do it and then do it again and make it better?
Yeah. What gets you up in the morning, brother?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he said. I think that's what Josh is saying. What gets you going? Like,
other than coffee in your socks,
right?
In a public
coffee
place.
And socks. That's what does.
I thought you said coffee in the socks. I was like, that's a different way of caffeinating.
That is the trial by fire. But
out of coffee filters, just use the socks.
Yeah.
Do not hand me that coffee.
Wild. But yeah, there was a certain point where it was almost just like, I think maybe 2018 when we did a big event for the Cultural Trust. That was like, for outside events, I put that as a staple of like, okay, I've like, not made it, but like, we got hired by the Cultural Trust for their 10-year thing.
To me,
like,
when I hear that, I feel like we're seen.
Yeah.
We're here.
That's a good way to say it. And before that, there was a lot of, what's the next thing? And it was never about money. It was never about the job. It was never about like proving, the company.
Yeah.
Or
it was more so about bringing people together.
Collective. Yeah. It was just growing the collective and seeing where that went.
Was there any point where you were like, I need this. I don't know if I want to keep doing this.
Oh, absolutely. Every day. That's why I wake up to every day.
I quit 3 times a week. I literally do. I quit 3 times a week.
I love that.
I do. Maybe sometimes a day. I quit twice a day already. I'm at my limit. Yeah. But
So there's a lot of times I'll wake up and be like, man, I am not looking forward. I'm dreading doing A, B, and C emails, and a lot of the it looks real fun, but there's a whole admin side to
Absolutely.
it. You get
God.
stuck in. That's
I had 6 meetings today, bro.
Yeah,
6.
you're saying that.
3 were unnecessary,
Right.
but they had to happen.
Right.
I had a leak in this room over here. All of the stuff that was in here today. And then I had to move it back in there because we had to do this, and I'm so happy we did because I got energy. Cool. You dread sometimes doing it, but the outcome, you're doing that thing you love, and you realize damn it, I could be still working security.
Right.
I could still be, I could be complaining. I still get up every morning and kind of am like, I'm lucky. You know what I mean? Like I get to go into my own office, something that created from my mind and these phalanges. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to use big words too.
Autonomy.
Phalanges. Movements. That's real.
Spirit fingers.
Spirit fingers.
Jazz hands.
Jazz.
We all got
Damn,
one.
we
There
got
we go.
one. That was good. That was good. But yeah, man.
We know about Corey and his jazz hands.
Yeah, the jazz hands.
Did they use jazz hands in miming?
Dude, that is I don't know, but you always seem to come back.
Hold on.
Should I tell the story?
That'd be a good crossover for some Redfishbowl event.
Okay.
Hit me.
Okay, this is great. I used to be in a gospel mime group. What?
Okay.
Yes.
And you guys, wait, what age was this?
This was like 11 through 13, I think, something like that. Yeah, a few years. It took me a few years to realize
young
that
man.
this wasn't the route I was supposed to take.
path.
Yeah,
You were kind of the leader of the bunch.
Not really. Don't put me there. Don't try to put me on
The teacher used you as
I'm not in the gospel mime hall of fame out here. But no, we didn't just silently just go around and be like.
But you guys toured and stuff.
Yeah, we did. The Jacksons. Because it was a thing. So you listen to gospel music and you mime it out. You're not trapped in the box. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is not that type of.
It was
mime.
interpretive miming.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah.
I think you should do some performance with
Absolutely
Redfishbowl.
not. Absolutely not. But you know what?
With the rabbit and everything, the mime, it's in there.
Because now I'm doing like short films. It would be like a dope art. Like an art video, like a video with an artistic approach, to have somebody in. And actually, Jay-Z did it in 444. So there was one in that, but she didn't have, you had the white face, the gloves, all black. You didn't have the striped shirt. That's not the type of, and the little French hat. It wasn't like that. But you paint your face white. And a lot of times you're at church or other places like that, but you definitely would go to different churches and they would play their music and you would create, your mind for it. We would have to practice twice a week.
Yeah.
It was a
committed.
Yeah, it was. You shit for this one. I appreciate you.
You gotta really believe in yourself.
Yeah, but you know what it did though? It helped me with stage. It helped me with confidence.
Yeah,
because you have to be.
Love it so much.
You have to be confident.
The gospel mime.
The gospel mime.
There are no cowards.
Because people
in
were
this
like,
field.
"What the hell was going on here?" You know what I mean? And it's like, "Hey, but
you go head on into that."
And you have to captivate them without words. You know what I mean? So there is a grace to it, and also you're performing in different places in front of people. So I'm always on stage. So it was nothing for me to get up and talk to somebody because I probably did the most embarrassing thing in my mind that I could do on a regular basis. So my humility was
you set the bar for yourself.
Yeah, it was great. So I took some gems from it. There's always two sides to the coin. The stuff that hurts the most will teach you the most. That's what I found out.
I don't bring it up to clown on you.
No.
I'm so.
That's no pun intended. But it's one of those things where I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't take it back, but it's also a great conversation started. So it's what? If I want to catch somebody's attention, I mean, we could be talking about anything to stop them and make them listen to me. I'll just say that I was in a gospel mime group.
Yeah, there's no grays over there.
It's gonna stop. It's gonna stop the conversation. Everybody's gonna look this way. I've done it. It's a thing. It works. Try that. Put that in your pipe. Smoke it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So back to Red Fishbowl.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about miming and stuff, I thought that was a great
Well,
segue.
on the reel, to segue from that real quick, something the other maybe 2 weeks ago, this guy walks in and he's just like an anime voice actor. And I was like, we have this Halloween party. Like, I want you to introduce these bands. And he does it in Japanese, so no one would understand what he was saying. So it'd just be perfect.
Yeah.
So,
You should do the
so,
video
like, just
with
like,
the subtitles.
Yeah. So it's like, just take the mic, do this, and then just say the band name at the end, so even the band will be confused. And then start playing. And this other
That's
guy's
very
got an
creative,
opera
though.
singer. Yeah, so just like little tweaks. So like
But
gospel mime.
Yeah.
Right before, right, boom,
Absolutely.
that ends.
And it is a good
We
way.
want it. We want gospel miming.
Yeah, it is
We
a
are
good
looking
way
for
to
gospel
communicate
mimers. That's why
without
we're here
words
today.
because you can still like understand, like you tell the story. It's like storytelling as well. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of different things that came from that. But yeah, it was a time, man. It was a time.
So tell me, what makes you not want to quit?
Yeah, that's perfect. Appreciate you. I didn't know how to
You didn't
segue
answer.
it.
You didn't
There was
answer my
no
question.
way to get that back over there.
I mean, gospel miming.
Yeah,
I
that's
used to
it,
be
you
a
go.
gospel mime.
That's how
That's what
you
keeps
work.
me going. No,
What if someone was like, me too?
yeah.
That's never happened.
There's got to be someone out there.
That's never happened. I think
That's the Tinder bio right there.
That's how I did meet
Looking
Gene
for gospel.
Simmons and them from Kiss, though. I met Kiss doing that. Yeah, we
Okay.
went to Ohio. This is a great story. Actually, it's the only. I'm sorry, I'm gonna take
No,
this. I'm
do
gonna take
it,
the spotlight
do
and
it,
put it
please.
back over here. Just put it back over here. So, yeah, you got this. All right, so in this mind, we would travel. So we went to. We went to Columbus, Ohio, and this is when Kiss did their first reunion tour, and they started their tour in Columbus, Ohio. So we went there to do this parade because we also did parades too. I mean, we didn't just stay in churches; like we were moving. We were really in this, like really doing this. So I don't know how we created a march, like 4 miles, and
Very
all
creative.
black. Paint on your face, caked up. It did not last, but we made it. But anyway, we get to the hotel and they had our own. We were on like a floor where there was nobody.
You persevered.
Yeah, and they put us up there, and we're walking to the hallways, walking to our hotel rooms, and I hear some of the girls screaming, like actually screaming in the hallways. Like, what the? And so I look out, and the guy with the star in his eye. I'm looking out my door, like, what the hell's going on? And he's looking out because they're knocking on his door, running. They have
So
no
they
idea.
they look like mimes too, and they're getting their makeup.
They did. We didn't have the makeup on at this time. We're going to the hotel room.
I picture you
But
guys coming out with the white faces, and they look over.
They did, and I look out, and I'm like this. He's like this, and I'm like, "Is that who the? It's not Halloween,
Right.
Like, yo, this is." And I forgot the lady that was at a place at my summer school was telling. She's a big Kiss fan.
Yeah.
And so I knew all about them. I didn't know their music, but I knew who they were.
Yeah.
And I remembered. I told her I was coming here. She's like,
Wait,
"That's
so
what
did you
Kiss-"
open for Kiss?
No, this is horrible. But I walked down there and I knocked on the door and he opened it real quick. He thought they were going to be. I was like, "No, look, man, I know who you guys are. They don't. They're just playing. I will stop that. But is it possible I can get an autograph? I'm a big fan." And then he was like, "Yeah." It's like, I thought we were the only ones on this floor. It's like, no, well, we're. And I told him who we were and what we do. He had no.
You don't know about the Gospel Christian Miming Group? Come on.
No fucking idea what that was, but he's like, yeah. And I told him to sign it to Miss Fran. That was my
Nice.
my school teacher. You know what I mean? My summer school, like, guidance, whatever she was. But
Yeah.
so I brought that back to her when I went back to.
Aw.
It was great.
That's so
And
beautiful.
so Gene did not, but it was the guy with the cat guy and the guy with the star.
Nice.
So they both signed it. So that
Love
was
it.
really dope. And she, I mean, anything I wanted that summer, I got for sure. For sure. She was.
You need some extra miming time? Go get it.
Yeah, like what? No, these kids. No, they're eating these bag lunch. We're ordering pizza and only you get it. You know.
Right.
Yeah. It was. I was treated like royalty.
I love it.
And it was all because of Gospel Mom. I love it. These are the gems, my friend.
So what makes you want to keep going, Chris?
Yeah, there we go.
Honestly, the segue off that.
Yeah, that was a great story.
It was
love
beautiful.
mime stories.
Beautiful. what it does for people.
Yeah.
Like seeing how the outlet it gives people,
Yeah.
especially when we get like a new kid from out of state who doesn't know a soul, and I'm like, here's like 9 years of community resources, this, that, printing, etc. All at your fingertips. Like, here, doors open, here you go.
Absolutely.
As well as in a cold comfort, during COVID and stuff. I got a few anonymous letters of like, thank you for having this place. I don't know if I would have made it through it if this didn't exist as an outlet, and things like that. So being able to, provide that, not service, but just like, I don't know the right word for it, outlet for creativity.
Amalgamism.
Amalgamisms.
Pull out your dictionary, folks.
But yeah. That, and then I think the other question was how we ended up getting the studio, which was another organic accident as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Pergel.
Yep. So
big thanks.
We would do
the whole community in general. I mean, it's
all of it. All of it. We would do these outside events, right? Yeah. And I would need like a liquor license or beer things or this and that. So I used John Pergel, who runs the Thunderbird and all that good stuff. And we were in like peak starting like festival season with our stuff. He's like, Chris, I got this like old office space upstairs. You should take it and make it into like an art thing or something. I'm like, no, I don't want any kind of commitment. Like I gotta do these events and things. Yeah. Like I got too much on my plate because I love just like, working my ass off for 6 months and then being able to travel or do whatever. But that cultural trust event that I was saying was like a staple. Also was like the epitome of a reason why I took that space, because it poured rain so hard for 6 straight hours, and just watching like 5 months of work just literally flush away. Like I'm talking like Highmark Stadium got canceled from this rain. Like Dylan Francis got Thrival that year. Yeah, so it was like heavy. Like we got people sitting with water above their ankles, rushing down Garrison Avenue, like holding up speakers and stuff. Like it was a mess.
Yeah.
But
that's the way to learn.
Yeah. And there was, I always think back to it. There was nothing we could have done.
No.
Like, that
was literally an act. Like that's just one of those things where it's like, it's an act of God right there. Like that's the universe saying, I don't care what you're doing. This is happening. And it definitely comes at those days.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And but eventually I was like, okay, it makes sense to invest in something that can be more permanent.
Right.
So then we kind of took that outside festival mentality, get all the artists, get all the bands, this, that, just make that huge platform, and we compressed it and put it inside. So it's almost the flip order of importance. Whereas like festivals, realistically, you're gonna go like, there's music, there's people are drinking, and there's art market, this, that. Whereas our space is more art co-working, gallery, art classes and stuff, and then events.
Okay.
So that's kind of just like a creative hub. But it was an old office space called Catapult. Yeah. So we took that and
catapulted off of it.
Yeah.
You are really on today, my friend. Really on today.
That is what happened.
My man, and you eating brain food today.
I'm not minding
it. You're not minding? I don't mind that.
I'm using the word.
Fish oil supplement, perhaps.
Focus pill. That's what it was. But
yes.
Man, I love it. I actually got those. Herbal. What was it?
Is it red?
No. It's you really
I didn't even get that.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really good. Here nor there. But okay. So you guys got the space. Now, how do you make it? How do you make it sustainable? Because that's another thing, right? You have to.
I was concerned at first.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it was just a formula of we did as little as $50 a month to rent space, and we had different tiers and stuff. Like if you want your own room and like private studio and like to sell art and all these different amenities, it's more expensive.
Right.
So I hate to use the word like art gym, but that's a good comparison. Like different. Like you want a personal trainer, you want this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Something for everybody.
Yeah.
That's
the gym is a good like the
a
business
model.
Yeah, the business model, like how it like the different activations. It definitely makes sense if you know like how it operates, and then you're able to look at what you do. That makes sense.
And that was a big problem too. You know, that was one of the issues I came across too. Even with when I was building out that studio was we would have a class, but there's different levels of people coming in.
Right.
So you have to really provide something for all of them, and you can't provide something for somebody who's an expert and something that is a beginner, and it's the same product.
Right.
Because it just won't. None of them. It just won't. One of them is going to be missing out, right? So you're leaving one to the curb. So you really do need to have something for like every level. I think that's important. And like you said, that gym analogy, I think that's a great business model.
Yeah.
For something.
And then there's churn, right? So how do you deal with like the churn of like where, you have people coming in and going out? Like how do you keep people coming in?
Help me out here. Churn.
Churn is when when you have
generation cycles.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, fortunately, most people do stick along, but I'll use Cam as an example.
Yeah.
He was there when we started. He had a room. Now he has Studio 4. He has his own business up the street.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we tend to strive off of. But the festivals help so much because, for the Lawrenceville Art Crawl, 200 artists is a lot of artists.
That is, yeah.
Right. So we're as new artists are coming and looking for opportunities and things to do, they're doing these festivals, and then we contact them as well to be like, hey, check out this studio.
Nice. Right.
So we have our staple people who've been with us forever.
Right. And then when you're doing all the other
cycles.
things, like whether it's Northside music festivals, taco festival, like people will sign up for that. And then find Redfishbowl through that, but they were just going to the event, and then they want to be a vendor for art, and then they find you, like so. Whatever the events are, it could be the cultural trust, it could be whatever. I think partnering with other festivals and events that aren't your events is definitely a huge way to continue casting that net, and then bringing those fish in.
Yeah, no, that is
really
a good way to say.
On one today. I love it. Yeah, man.
It's all about philosophy.
There you go. And keeping that going. How long did it take to really kind of get your footing to have like a business model that?
It was the same thing. I had no intention of starting a studio or renting space or doing any of that.
Yeah.
It was just like, that event rained so hard and it made sense to work towards something that's permanent. And I'd, over so many years, built a network of all these people. So I was like, all right, let's just go for it.
Yeah.
And then it was like starting a new job. I was like, oh, this is every single day.
Oh, yeah. You can't take it off.
Yeah.
And there's no days off, man.
Yeah.
There really isn't. Even your days off.
I'm aware.
Yeah. There was a bonding moment that happened when we were sitting in here. When we first sat down, it was just like, yeah, I know. It was the way he sat here, just that the energy. You're in this adaptation response of I'm just getting it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just getting it done. It doesn't matter what's coming up. I've done it so many times where I'm here and I'm going, but it takes a different type. And this is a thing that I told myself this week. I'm gonna stop looking for motivation. That sounds weird, right?
No.
Because I feel like motivation is there's a ceiling to that. There's a ceiling to it.
And it also, you can kind of get high off the motivation of like, oh yeah, like you can enjoy it too much and be like get into just watching motivational or reading motivational stuff and not actually doing the
and then when you don't have it,
right,
it seems harder to get the I feel like it's good for a certain point, but there's a point in time where it just I'm at this point now where it's like, no, I had to accept this is what I do. So there's going to be days where I don't feel like doing anything, and sometimes I hide behind things that motivate me,
right?
And I keep looking for things instead of doing them because it's like I have to develop that muscle of just continuously being able to come in here because
all movement is forward.
It has to be more than just motivation. It has to be a part of who I am.
Yeah.
Like I have to like merge myself with the idea of what my business is. I have to merge it, so
Right.
I damn near can't breathe if I don't do this.
Right.
You know, it's like it becomes an extension of my body.
Yeah.
Like that's how connected I want to be.
Yeah.
At this stage I'm at, and it's like because the motivation thing is getting old for me.
It all comes in waves
You
because
have to do
like
it regardless of how you feel.
Yeah,
type thing.
yeah. It's like
I feel all of that heavy.
okay.
So I was,
it was like I was like motivation. Like I need more than that.
Yeah.
It has to be a lung. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. It has to be connected, and that's I feel like to have something that's so personable as actually part of the business model. That's what it has to. You pretty much just have to get there, especially these days. You can't just have something that's just cookie cutter, corporate, because that doesn't have a soul to it. The things that we're doing, there's people attached to it, and it feels like it has its own. It's breathing. You know what I mean? It's breathing. It's not just gears tapping together, getting it moving type feeling. It takes passion. It takes belief.
Right.
You gotta. It's more than a love. It's more than a job. It's a lifestyle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a wild thing.
I love it.
No, very
And then
well
I
said.
sipped this
Well said.
amazing water, custom branded water from PGH. Hello. That's the reason I'm able to talk the way I talk. No, I'm just kidding. I'm having fun today, man. I'm at that point.
We're having a blast.
Yeah.
Do you have any last words?
I had a blast.
Yeah.
This is an amalgamation of an interview. I don't think that one fits.
That one doesn't
fine.
seem like it made
Yeah.
it made the cut, but definitely tell them where they can find you at, Chris, and how they can find out more about Redfishbowl as well as partake in Redfishbowl.
Absolutely. The standards: website, Instagram, all that good stuff.
All the stuff that he didn't know what it was. Let me bring that back. The LLC as well.
Yep.
It's there.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Redfishbowl. They all handles.
Nice.
All right. So if you want to find me or you guys enjoy what you're listening to, we're at the 1028 Podcast. That's 1028 Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, on X. Yeah, I'm trying to still get used to saying that. But also, I don't really deal with Twitter. It's very toxic. But it's okay. If you want to find me on that, that's cool. But if you want to follow me on my personal page with my art, that's Move78, MUVE 78, man. And hit me up, man. Hit me up. It's been fun. These are always fun.
Absolutely.
But,
and if you enjoy podcasting or you think you might enjoy podcasting, check out 1028 Podcast Studio.
Hello.
Koryo Chai.
Right.
And book the space.
Absolutely.
And check it out online.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And that's located in Sharpsburg and Pittsburgh. And definitely worth coming here, checking this out.
Absolutely, man. Come and schedule a tour. I would love to sit down with you. Maybe we can do a test podcast just to see if this is something that fits you. I don't want you doing something that, come and try it out. I think it'll be a fun time.
Right.
And I'll guide you through it. I take care of everything. When you come here, all you gotta do is sit down and pod. It's most people Most people don't really want to test the waters because they feel like they have to know how to edit, they have to know what the audio, they don't have the equipment. I take care of all that. Take care of all that. All you have to do is bring yourself and your personality, and we'll figure it all out once we sit down and have a good time.
And the mics and the headphones, that all just kind of fades away in about 5 minutes.
Period.
And even better if you just pour some water on your head.
Yeah, I can attest to all
Such
of
as this one right here.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Thank you guys so much for having me. This
Absolutely,
has been
man. It's been amazing. And one more.
Yeah,
one more out.
I'll write it out. I want to say thanks to everyone that's listening. We wouldn't be able to do this without everyone that tunes in, and so we thank you for. It's not my platform, it's yours. So go ahead and share this with someone, or share the links or whatever, if you find that it's something that could be useful to someone else. Thank you for that. PGHprintship.com. That's my business, my day-to-day. And if you are interested in any type of printing, check out our website. We do lots of fine art prints, which is kind of the connection of how we've developed a lot more in that. And most of that work a good portion of that work comes from Redfishbowl. So we've had a good partnership where we've worked together. And so pghprintship.com, check that out. And then for me personally, the best way to reach me is my Instagram, Josh Snyder 86, and that's Snyder with an I. And the podcast, you can find us everywhere, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. I don't think we really mess with X too much.
No.
We're on YouTube. YouTube's got like 50,000 views.
YouTube's
crazy.
YouTube is popping.
Right. I love that. So definitely check us out. I wanted to take a second and remind people that like everything comes in waves, not to get too focused on any particular thing. Don't take anyone's advice, including that.
Absolutely.
It just chill out and we're going to be all right.
Trust the process, baby.
Exactly.
Trust the process. Absolutely.
Shit.
Go out there, do something beautiful. The world's counting on you. We will see you on the next one. Hello. Go check out Redfishbowl. I want to say it. What's the word again? Monongahela? It's a river in Pittsburgh. Check it out.